welcome. Thank you for joining me for this practice that honors Gemini season, which we have just entered here in the Northern Hemisphere, bringing us into this late spring season. We're going to start laying flat on our backs on the mat, so go ahead and join me here, and we'll get started. Take a moment to just unwind, decompress, and let go of whatever's going on off the mat. Take a moment here to bring awareness to breath. Just notice it, the quality of it. And see if you can make it deep and steady. Cultivating a conscious breath. Gemini is an air sign and therefore brings a strong sense of communication and socialization. And Gemini is symbolic of two seemingly opposite, opposing pieces, these two moments of duality, and then those coming together to transcend that duality, right? Working with both energies on both sides, whether that be this feeling of light and dark, or masculine and feminine, and just acknowledging that we have all of these within us. Take a moment to consider where you might have some of these opposing qualities and how they show up for you. And take a moment to embrace those qualities, even if you don't think of them as positive, right? The dark side of yourself maybe feels like something you don't want to embrace. But I invite you to not turn away from that and just acknowledge that that's part of you. As you consider these things, begin taking full breaths into the belly. If we're not already doing this, be conscious of really expanding the belly first here with your deep inhale. And then we're going to inhale to expand the belly and then the chest. So we're going to fully expand. Then go ahead and exhale, chest and belly emptying. And then see if you can take that a step further. When you inhale, imagine it rising up from the feet and passing through all of the parts of the body as you fully expand. From toe to crown of the head. And then when you exhale, imagine it leaving the body in the same manner, from the head going back down towards the feet. Think of this rising and falling. Okay, we're going to get into some movement here. We're going to start turning on the core. So inhale, turn the core on, and we're going to pull the knees into chest. We'll start off with a little bit of movement here, rocking and rolling on the spine, massaging the kidneys, maybe even the glutes and the hips. Make this movement your own. Find what works and feels good in the body. Send those legs long and high to the sky. Waterfall here for a moment. Press that back flat to the mat and see if we can push those feet flat to the sky. Bend the knees as much as you need to. And then with control, we're going to lower the knees back down. We're going to take a deep breath. Exhale, and we're going to let the left thigh drop down. And the right leg is going to go long. Take a moment here. If you need to support underneath of the thigh, please bring a prop like your fist or a pillow underneath of this leg or the glute if it's too intense, or keep this right leg bent. All right, you've got options here. All right, take a few deep breaths again, imagining the breath coming from the feet and rising up the body. And see if you can visualize the moon. That might seem a little odd to you, but I imagine you to bring that to mind here as we open up this left side. The moon is symbolic of cooling energy, a softer, lighter touch, and a feminine energy as well. It is more subtle. Good, deep breath here. We're gonna lift this right leg up and then left leg up. We're gonna bend the right leg to meet it if you had it long. Take a moment here, really push down the lumbar, the mid-back into the mat. And then we'll take that on the other side, drop that right leg down. And then if you're able to, maybe straighten out that left leg. Take a few deep breaths from the toes to the crown. And I invite you to imagine now the sun. It is a intense heat, a more masculine energy. And this is the energy of day, opposed to the moon, which is the energy of night. Inhale, we're going to lift that right leg and bring the left leg here to meet it. All right, take a moment here. You can push that low back into the mat if that feels good to kind of decompress the spine a little. And then we'll see if we can drop both of those legs open here, supporting under the glutes or the thighs if you need to. Bringing the feet together and then knowing you can push those feet further away from the body to make this less intense, okay? Bring those feet closer to the body to make it a little deeper of a stretch. And here, once you've settled in, take some deep breaths. Drawing the breath up from the feet, through the spine. And now take a moment to acknowledge both of these energies. The sun, moon, night, day, feminine, masculine, and acknowledge all of those within the self. Good. From here, when we're ready, with control, bring those legs back up and together. Take a moment here, pull those knees back to chest, and it might feel good to do a little rocking left to right. Maybe you want to do small circles with the knees to get a little stimulation of the internal organs. Inhale, send those legs high to the sky, waterfall. See if we can flatten those feet to the ceiling. Bend the knees as much as you need to. See if we can get a nice deep stretch along the back of the leg. Good. Deep breath here. We're going to fill and expand the belly. And then exhale, we're going to let those feet drop. And you can even have a little force in that landing. All right, let's do that again. Inhale, send those legs high. Expand and fill the belly. Exhale, let them drop. Good. We'll do one more. Inhale. Good. Send those arms out wide into a T, or maybe bend the elbows for cactus arms. And then we're just going to windshield wiper the knees back and forth. And then from here, we're going to make our way up into a seated position. You can do a little rocking and a roll on the spine if that feels good. If this isn't for you, then find a gentler way to a seat. All right, come into a comfortable seat. We can have legs crossed, legs out straight is also fine. Find what feels good, what works for you. And take a moment here to just ground into the mat. Drop the chin to chest and relax. Inhale, see if you can feel as if you are lengthening the vertebrae from the tail all the way up the crown. So if we're relaxed down, the head is down, this might feel like a gentle unfurling of the spine. Very gentle though. Inhale. Here, stack the vertebrae. Imagine you are being pulled up to the sky from your crown, as if you were being lifted. Good. Exhale and just settle into shape here. Ground down the tailbone, lift the hips, turn the core on. Make sure we can maintain this posture. And then inhale. Imagine again lengthening the spine. Good. On the next inhale, we're going to sweep those arms high to the sky. Reach up, arms open. Slide the shoulder blades down the body. Push the crown high to the sky. Relax the legs. Good. Here we'll exhale. We're going to drop the left arm down. Reach over to the right side. Drop those, the thigh and the hip down. Make sure this right elbow is pointing high to the sky, and then see if we can look up. Deep breath here and see if you can feel an expansion down the side body into the hip. Good. Exhale. We will come back to center. Take a moment. Lengthen the spine, and then inhale. Sweep those arms high to the sky. Big expansive breath here. Find that lifting sensation again. Lifting the spine and grounding the legs. Exhale. This time we tilt to the right. Drop that right arm down. Left arm reaches. That elbow points to the sky, and then we can turn our gaze up as well. Deep breath here. Expand through the ribs and the side body. Good. Exhale. We'll come back to center. Excellent. Inhale. Sweep those arms high. Exhale. We're going to bring them down in front, and we're just going to lean forward and come into a tabletop position. So I'm going to turn here. All right. In your tabletop, set up that foundation as always. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders, elbows point behind you, and push those hands and feet firmly into the mat. Inhale, draw the navel to spine, flatten the back, and push the crown forward. Good. From here, we'll do a little cat-cow, moving with breath. Inhale, look up, drop the belly. Exhale, take your version of cat, push the spine to the sky. Move here with breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. We'll come back to tabletop. And we want to firm here through the hands and the feet and the legs again. Good. Let's reach out this left leg nice and long. When you do this, be conscious that your hips aren't tilting too much to the right. You might feel them want to bump to the side a little bit here, so just try to keep them in line. And if it's not working for you to get your leg up off the ground, please go ahead and start down here with your toes touching, and you can really just spike that heel back. All right, if you can maintain this, see if you can just hover the foot. Notice how that core really has to turn on. Okay, now also equal weight in both hands. Strong legs, strong core here. Good. We're going to exhale, pull that knee to chest. Inhale, reach it out, look forward. Exhale, pull everything in. One more, reach it out. Exhale, pull and squeeze. One last time, I lied, I'm sorry. We're going to reach it out, and then we're going to bring it down, okay? And then we'll switch. Same thing here, maybe start low if you need to. Find your balance, find your center, and then we'll lift that leg as much as we can. Good, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. One more time. Inhale, reach that leg out, and then go ahead and bring it on down to the earth. Good. Take a moment here, quick little rest in a child's pose. You can have knees together, knees wide. It does not matter. Notice how that feels for you. And then reach those arms out. In this shape, take a deep breath. Feel the abdomen expanding into the knees, all right? Or into the thighs, excuse me. Feel the pressure of the air filling the body. Good, and then on your next inhale, we'll rise up, and we're gonna come into our first down dog. In your down dog, again, check your foundation. Those toes point ever so slightly together. Bend the knees as much as you need, lift the heels here, and then check the hands. Press firmly, the elbows should point to the back of the mat, and then we wanna melt the heart and push the hips high. Deep breath here, look between the toes, between the feet, I mean. And then know also that you can make a shorter down dog. If you're new to the practice, a beginner, you can walk those feet closer, for sure. Or maybe it feels better to walk them further away from the body. You figure out what works, what is sustainable. Okay, from here, we're going to inhale, lift the left leg. All right, and then exhale, see if we can bring knee to chest. We won't do this much longer, but bear with me here. Kick it high again. Open up that hip. And then think about that knee arcing like a big rainbow up and over. See if you can touch same elbow. And then we're going to kick it up. Good. From here, see if you can touch opposite elbow. Good. Kick it on up high. And then final time, we're going to step forward to come into a low lunge. Okay, in your low lunge, check your foundation. You want wide stance here, push firm through this forward foot. Squeeze those thighs together. Inhale, rise up into a kneeling warrior one. Make sure that we're not dumping the guts and the hips forward. We want to be turning on that core, finding some lift here through the low body. Reach high to the sky. Good. Exhale, paint down the wall, hands to the earth. And we'll do a little kneeling half splits here. Straighten out this left leg. Keep high on this hip so we're not sinking down. If you're coming down here towards the heel, that it can be very harmful to the knee. So we want to just stay here. And you might need to bend this left leg. Like you might look more like this. That's so fine. We're getting a stretch here. And then we really want to pull this hip into socket by slightly leaning ourselves to the right. Good. Exhale here. Walk forward. Come out of this lunge back into tabletop. And then from there, we'll just come back to down dog. Good. Take a few breaths. Take a moment here in this shape. Check your foundations. And then inhale, right leg comes high this time. Check that you have equal weight in both hands. Balance the hips. The hips should be pointing to the earth here. Toes point down. Exhale, knee to chest. Kick it on up and then bend the knee, little scorpion pose here. And then arcing that knee up and over. See if you can touch same elbow. Kick it high. Good. Exhale. See if you can touch opposite elbow. Kick it high. Exhale. Step forward. Low lunge. Beautiful. Inhale. Rise up. Remember your foundations here. Squeeze these thighs towards each other. Pull the navel in and up. Reach high. Deep breath here. Slide those shoulders down. Exhale. Paint the hands slowly down. Come into a little kneeling half splits. Bow the head here. Get a nice deep stretch along the back of this right leg. And then pull the hip into socket. Little lean to the left and see if you can enhance the stretch. Good. We're going to roll forward back to our low lunge. And then we are going to lift the knee this time and step it back into down dog. Good. Take a breath. Reset. All right, bend the knees, and I invite you to take this next move at your own pace. We're going to do a little bit of hopping here since we're in an air sign, so we're going to be kind of trying to gain some air. But if you're uncomfortable with hopping, it's new to you, or you've got maybe sensitive ankles or knees, try just like little teeny hops and make sure you're bending the ankles and knees as much as you need to. If that's not working, I invite you to just take big steps forward. All right? Either way, take a deep breath, bend the knees, hop to the top of the mat, however you like. Once you get up here, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Good. In your fold, widen the stance and really bend the knees as much as you need to hang down. Good. Firm through the feet. Unroll the spine. Come all the way up to standing mountain pose. Reach high to the sky. And then exhale. We're going to bring the hands all the way down to come out to the side. Right. Take a moment here. Deep breaths. Ground the feet firmly into the earth. And when you inhale, again, see if you can imagine the breath rising up from the earth through the feet, all the way up the body to the crown of the head. Okay, so I want you to try to ride with this rising and this falling sensation of the breath. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, lift the left leg. See if you can come into a little balance posture. If this isn't working for you, please feel free to be much lower. Maybe you just kick the foot out a little bit and you're hovering down here. Maybe you are more advanced than me even and you want to go like way out. I'm going to be here. We're just lifting the leg, finding balance. You've got options.
From here, step it back into a warrior one shape. So we have wide legs. That means we're on like train tracks here. Bending into this front knee, straightening this rear leg. And then we'll inhale to reach high. In this posture, we have to turn on the thighs. Pull the navel in and up. This will support you. Do not lock this back leg here. Find power from the foot. Feel that power from the earth traveling all the way up the body, up through the arms. Good. Exhale, we're going to bow forward, bringing those hands to the earth. And we're going to practice a little standing half splits here. So we're going to tent up on the fingers, hands on the earth, bending in this front knee. And we'll inhale, see if we can just lift this leg. In your standing half splits here, we're going to see if we can bow the crown of the head to the earth. Point the left toes down, see if you can fold. And then we're going to step it on back, exhale. Bend into this knee, rise up. Warrior one, just like before. We're going to flow like that 2 more times, okay? We're going to be really working this leg. You might be feeling it. Remember, you can always shorten your stances if the wide stance is not sustainable for you. So find something that you can maintain. Reach high. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, standing half splits. Good. Exhale, step back. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale again, bow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step back. Inhale, warrior one. Beautiful. Exhale, we'll wind the arms all the way down. Planting the hands, coming into our first little chance for a flow here. If you know a vinyasa flow and you want to take it, go nuts. Otherwise, we can slowly come down into a little, onto the earth first, into a little cobra pose. Turning on the core. Exhale, bow. Push those hands firmly, press up to plank. Find your way back to a down dog. Deep breaths here. Reset the spine. Reset your foundations. Bend the knees. Deep breath here. Find your way to the top of the mat, whether that is a hop or some other maneuver. Halfway lift, however you like, and then we're going to fold it down. Big breath here as we inhale, unfurl the spine, rise all the way up, hands to the sky. And then exhale, hands down, open them out to the sides, mountain pose. Good. Again, plant the feet firmly. Deep breath, imagine it coming up from the ground, up through the body, all the way up to the crown of the head. Inhale again, lift that right leg this time. Remember, you have options. Tone it down or amp it up, however you'd like. And then step back, warrior one. Remember, wide stance here. Your toes are pointed out at an angle on this rear foot. Not forward, not totally to the side, somewhere in between. Reach high to the sky, turn those thighs on, scissor them towards each other. Pull that navel in and up, really engage the core here. And we'll flow 3 times, all right? Inhale, reach high. Exhale, bow, hands to the earth. Inhale, find that half splits. Check that those toes point down and that the hips point down and that we're folded. Exhale, plant the foot here. Inhale, rise up. 2 more times, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. 1 more time, folks. Come on down. Inhale up. Exhale. Step it back. And 1 more time. Big breath. Reach high. Beautiful. Exhale. Ooh, this time come all the way to the earth. Plant the hands. Here is your option for a vinyasa or skip it. Find down dog. Reset the spine. Reset the foundations. Deep breaths. Good. Bend the knees. Deep breath and find your way to the top of the mat. If you're hopping, remember to hop on the bottom of your exhale. So you've just pushed all the lungs out, all the air out of your lungs. Don't push your lungs out. That sounds wrong. And then hop. Good. Halfway lift. Bow it down. Deep breath. Rise up from the earth. And then exhale. Hands come all the way down and out. Mountain pose. Take a moment here. Take a deep breath. Drawing that from the ground up through the body. Good. Okay, from here, I'm going to step back so I have a little more space. Stay where you are though. We're going to inhale and lift this left leg. This time we're going to bend the knee and see if we can kind of bring that heel towards the glutes. Grabbing on to the foot. All right, this might be as far as you go. Just letting you know this. You want to grip the outer edge of the foot here. The inner edge. Noticing how that opens up this shoulder a little bit here. And then we'll do dancers. So this is your first level, your first variation. And then you might be able to bow forward. When you do this, make sure the core stays engaged. And what I like to imagine is that I'm making an arc. The navel is arcing down towards the earth. So it's trying to point down. As I bow, hinging at the waist. And then as we do this, we kick the foot up into the hand to create tension and stretching the quads and the hips. Bowing it down and reaching that right arm out. Send your gaze to the earth. Take a bow. Breathe. Exhale slowly with control. See if you can come back to first position. And then exhale, release. Good. Take a moment here. Pedal out those heels, the ankles, the feet, whatever. Get some movement back into the legs. And then we're going to do the other side. So come back to mountain. Strong foundation. Inhale, lift that right leg. From here, bend the knee, swing it back, and we're going to grip the foot. See if we can grip the inner edge, the arch of the foot. And then you might stay here. Reach that left arm high, even if you're staying here. And then bow forward. If you are able, you must use the core here, turn it on. Find power through the standing leg, and then push that right foot up into the hand. Push, push, push. Send your gaze down. Take a deep breath. If you fall out of the pose, remember that's part of the journey. Okay, we're going to come back out with control, stepping down and back into mountain. Take a moment here, once again, pedal out the heels, the ankles, get some movement back into the low body. And then we'll do deep breath here, root to rise, reach high, and then exhale, fold down. Halfway lift, and fold, exhale. Good, plant the hands here, another option, chance for vinyasa. In your down dog, deep breaths. And then we're going to bring the knees to the earth. And we're just going to exhale, sink down into child's pose for a moment, for a few breaths. Go back to this idea of expansion. Fill the lungs and feel them pressing into the thighs here, expanding the abdomen. Good. We're going to rise up and transition into a seated posture here. From our seat, I want you to bend the knees, grip behind the thighs, and we're just going to tilt back and find a boat pose. We've got tons of options here. You might just start here. See if you can maybe just tap the toes to the earth, getting onto that tailbone a little bit. Then if you're comfortable there, see if you can straighten out those legs, parallel those legs, excuse me. And then maybe you do actually straighten out those legs, keeping a nice straight spine here as you do this. Maybe you can let go. Deep breaths. Good. Exhale, come out of your boat pose. And then we're going to slide all the way back down onto all fours and then come down to resting on the belly. Send those arms out long towards the toes here and just relax the hands. Take a few deep breaths here. Be humbled by this position. And even in this posture, see if you can imagine the breath coming from the feet and rising up into the body. Good. From here, we're going to bring those arms now out in front of us. And this pose might feel a little bit, these next movements might feel a bit familiar to you. We're going to lift the left arm and the right leg. Now, when you do this, turn on the core. You're not holding yourself up here with the opposite leg in hand. You're holding yourself up here with the core. To do this, I imagine that you are trying to fold your body in half, despite how you being flat on the ground. So knit those abdomen muscles towards each other. Think about pulling the ribs down towards the hips. Good. Lift and then lower. Inhale, opposite leg, opposite arm. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Opposite side. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And again. Good. One more round on each side. Good. Take a moment here coming back to resting flat on the earth. We've got our face down. If it feels uncomfortable to have your third eye or your forehead pressing into the mat, you might push your chin into the mat, opening up through the throat here. This can be especially beneficial if you struggle with that chakra or that area of the body and you want to open up some energy and invite some movement into that part of the body. It can be really good to rest the chin. And then from here, we're going to bend the knees, and we'll see if we can just grip onto the feet or the ankles. If you are not able to do this, and you know this already, pause here and go ahead and grab a strap or something that can aid you in getting into this shape. Or if you just want to kind of challenge yourself, just try to reach. Even if you can't actually reach, just try. And that alone is going to be engaging the core, stretching out these quads, just how we want to feel. So you might be here, you might just be kind of reaching, and then we're going to come into a full bow pose here. So you're balanced on the core. Once again, try to pull those ribs down towards the hips. Turn the core on. And then we're going to inhale, push the hands up into the feet and find lift here. The shoulders are lifting, the thighs are lifting, and then we also want to be careful that the thighs are not opening here. We want to keep them kind of tight in line, so don't let those knees go too far away from each other. Okay, exhale, we're going to just release. You might be able to continue holding on to the feet and just relax down, or you might need to release a little bit here. That's totally fine. So just take a moment here of rest. And then we're going to inhale again, turning on the core, finding this lift and this expansion. Good. Exhale, come back down. And then one final time, we'll find this lift into bow pose. Deep breaths here. Good. Exhale down. Release and go flat. Take a moment, arms reaching out towards those feet, and just relax the shoulders, relax the head. Know you've got options here, what to do with the head. Good. We're going to push the hands into the mat, and then we're going to push the knees into the mat. I want you to come up into a tabletop, and then we're going to exhale down to child's pose, taking a moment of rest. And we're going to kind of expand out the lower back. We just did a little bit of like compressing of the low back with the bow pose. It is a back bend, so we're going to just counter that a little bit here with some deep breaths, child's pose, knowing that you can also widen the knees if you want to feel this more in the hips. All right, so you've got your options here. Take a rest. You can have those arms reaching back if you'd like to really sink those shoulders down. Good. Bring those hands forward, push up, come back into a tabletop, and then we'll go into a down dog again. Take a few deep breaths into this inversion, resetting the spine and the foundation. Inhale, lift that right leg high, coming back into this three-legged dog shape. And then we're going to exhale, finding our half pigeon. In this posture, I invite you all to begin upright here and really just let those hips settle. Look back at that leg and see if it's in line with the body and the hips. And then always have options. You can come on down into your maybe more traditional pigeon, or there's the option here to bend this left leg any amount. If you only get here, that's fine. You can throw a block or a book or something short underneath of the foot. Maybe you get up here, or maybe you take that strap you might have used earlier and you lasso this foot. Or you might be able to just reach back and grab on, coming into a little mermaid posture here. If you do, look forward and really feel opening up through this left shoulder. Be cautious that we're not crimping the low back here. We still want to turn on the core. This is a more active version of our pigeon, right? This is going to involve a little more extra work here. This is really good to help open up the hip flexors and the quads. They get so tight from sitting, which is something many of us doing very often. And then we will go ahead and release. If you took a grab to that leg, Or if you're down on the ground, come up here, back to this upright version. And then we'll see if we can curl those toes under to safely lift up and out into down dog. If that doesn't work for you, find your own way back. Then reset, deep breaths here. Good, left leg comes high to the sky this time. And then we're gonna come into pigeon on the other side. Everyone start here, deep breaths. Settle the hips, straighten out the leg behind. And then once again, come into your variation. Whichever one you attempted on the other side, I do encourage you to repeat that same variation on this side, just to keep everything kind of balanced and even. So bending, if that's what you're into. Wherever you are, make sure you can take deep, steady breaths. If the breath is catching or feels tight or shortened, then I encourage you to come out of the posture a little, find your breath, and then you can go back in if your breath allows. Let it guide you and help you know your limits. And then we'll release if you took a hold of the leg, or if you're all the way down, come upright here to meet me. And then just like before, we'll come out of this the same way. See if you can curl those toes under, find lift here, coming back into your down dog. And then bending the knees to come back to the earth. And then we're going to transition to laying flat on the back, just like we started. We're going to bend the knees and settle all the way down. And then we'll turn on the core, pull those knees into the chest once again. And we're going to grip onto the feet for a little happy baby. Know that you can grip onto the ankles if this is not working for you to grab the feet. You could also maybe just grip onto the thighs, or even, I don't know, the calves. Find some kind of variation that works for you. But grip onto the inner edge of the leg if you can, keeping the arms on the inner medial of the body, right? And the legs, the knees will be sticking out. Okay, flat back here. If your tailbone is really lifting and you feel like you're kind of curling up like this, then I invite you to take a lower grasp. So grasping the ankles, the calves, the thighs, something else. And if you're really struggling here, you can kind of take this one side at a time, taking a strap over this leg and seeing if you can help encourage it to come down, and then maybe doing one side at a time. If you're really tight, that is my variation for you. Otherwise, we're all here, we're taking deep breaths, and we're trying to really let those hips drop down into socket, relaxing the legs. And then if you'd like, you can even do a little rolling here, straightening out one leg. I really like to see if I can tap the toes, getting that leg nice and straight, and then doing the same on the other side. So you might be playing around with something like this, or you might just be in a static, still shape. And then we're going to exhale to let go of the legs. Take this nice and easy. We took a big hip opener here, and we're just going to drop the feet to the earth.
From here, again, if you need props for the glutes or for the thighs, go ahead and grab those, use them. Otherwise, we're going to just gently let those legs drop open, just like we did at the beginning of class. Knowing that you can send those legs further away from the body if you're really tight, or if you're feeling some discomfort in the low back, which is something I often struggle with. Make more space here. And then we're going to send those arms up and overhead, reaching out so we can find a little expansion along the side of the body. Take deep breaths here, and again, expand into the belly. See if you can feel the self expanding in all directions as we take deep breaths. And I imagine you to come back to this idea of our duality, the energies of these two seemingly opposing states that exist within us. Acknowledging that despite the the duality that appears to be here, the opposition that appears to be here, we are still one piece, right? Within this single piece, the body here, the self, exists these opposing energies. Hot, cold, light, dark, love, indifference, all of these things. From here, we're just going to straighten out the legs, nice and easy, and come right into Savasana. We're already here, we're already primed for it. Take up space, straighten out the legs, and whatever thoughts have been occupying the mind, take a moment to conclude them, and then eventually let them go. Come into your final resting place. That sounded a little more morbid than I meant. Your final resting pose for the practice. Hopefully this is not your final resting place. Relax the body, and then kind of like we did with the breath, but just a little body scan here. Start with your awareness at the crown of the head, maybe even the fingers if your hands are up overhead. And then just relax those parts. Notice if you're clenching anything in the skull or the face and the neck, and just release tension. Relax the fingers and the hands. Relax the arms, the shoulders. Maybe snuggle the shoulders under the body. Tuck the chin just slightly. Deep breaths here. And then relax the pecs, relax the abdomen and the back. Notice if you're clenching around the tailbone and hips, and let that go. Relax the thighs, the knees. Relax the calves and the feet. And then finally, try to relax the mind. If it's actively thinking, try to let that go. If thoughts come up for you, see if you can push them aside. And knowing that if they are important, they will find their way back. Of course, feel free to pause and stay here longer. Otherwise, I invite you to come back into self with me here, so we can close out our practice with some ritual. We'll begin moving the fingers and the toes, and then begin circling the ankles and wrists. Roll a little bit here on the thighs and the arms, bringing movement into the joints. Maybe take a full body stretch as if you were just waking up. Rocking a little the hips here. Good. And then from here, if you'd like to come into this little ball shape and get out by doing a little rock and roll like before, I invite you to do this. Otherwise, you can come out of your position a little more gently into a fetal posture. So we'll come back into our seated position to close out practice here. Take a deep breath, and we're going to inhale, reach those arms high to the sky. I want you to bring your thoughts back to the intentions, the energies we've cultivated here, this idea of uniting duality. So whatever this means to you, however this shows up in your life, I invite you to cultivate the energy here with a deep breath, and then exhale, pull it down and in to heart center, resting thumbs right on the sternum. And we will close our practice with 1 chant of Om, 3 chants of Shanti. So Om being the primordial sound of the universe, which resonates through all chakras in the system, and Shanti being a Sanskrit for peace. So here we'll take a deep breath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for joining me for practice here today. Have a lovely Gemini season. I'll see you all next